All right, let's pick it up in verse 1, because now you find for the first time there is a reference to false prophets. Because it's always been true, whether it's the congregation in the wilderness, that false leaders come in, invariably some of whom use signs to say they are from the true God. So God has to make clear how you know. There are other people who have a problem with spirits. Now, this isn't a sermon about demons, but there are people who see signs, dreams, visions, they hear voices, things happen, and they think it's from God. But it becomes a major problem if a Christian doesn't know when it's God and when it's angels. I've talked to people who have seen visions in God's church, and they believe God is specially working with them. Other people see visions in God's church, and they know immediately to reject. People have seen all kinds of things, reported all kinds of things, unique things in dreams, voices, other things, and I tell them, you get close to God, resist the devil, and he'll flee from you. Now, a person's not going to resist something in or out of God's church if they're not convinced it's the devil. So I would ask you this question: how would you know it was the devil? It's real easy to interpret things if you don't know where and how God works, to interpret things just about any old way you want. Anything can mean just about anything. For the Lord your God proves you, and that's the key point here. There is a test involved to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death. Now that's serious. In the Old Testament, if you did the kinds of things we're going to talk about in a moment, and what's already been said here in context, you died, because he has spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Here's why he died: and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust you out of the way which the Lord your God commanded you to walk in. So shall you put the evil away from the midst of you. The way false prophets ultimately seduce people and pull them with them are through dreams and false signs. It says, and gives you a sign or a wonder. There are false prophets who lead splinters today. They are utterly demon-inspired. They are not of God. And here's how you can know it. And the sign or the wonder not come to pass. No. Now look, if it not come to pass, there isn't any doubt. You wouldn't have to say it doesn't come to pass. Anybody with a room temperature IQ says this guy can't be sent from God. You wouldn't have to warn people to not follow those who give out signs and wonders that fail. Everybody say, hey, you can't be a representative of God. Now, there are people, I understand, there are people foolish enough to follow false prophets whose signs fail. They're in a different category, and I mean, those are just unreachable people.